The world is unfair. Accept this now, or remain its victim forever. While you watch this, someone dumber than you holds more power. Someone weaker than you has more influence. Someone less skilled than you lives your dream life, because they understand what you don't, the dark psychology of human nature. You play by rules others broke long ago. You stay nice while they stay strategic. You wait for respect while they take it. The game is rigged against those too blind to see how it's really played. 500 years ago, Machiavelli decoded power. He saw why good men finish last and why ruthless strategists rule. Today I'll share 8 dark principles that will transform you from invisible to untouchable. But warning, once you see human psychology's matrix, you can never unsee it. Let me tell you when everything changed. I was intelligent, hardworking, genuine, and completely invisible. I watched confident idiots get promoted over me. I saw manipulators build empires while honest people struggled. Charismatic sociopaths attracted followers while decent people ate alone. Then I realized the truth no one admits: the world doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards influence. It doesn't respect good hearts, it respects strong presence. Your character means nothing without psychological dominance. This destroyed my naive worldview. It also freed me from frustration and invisibility. Machiavelli watched kingdoms rise and fall on one principle: those who understand human psychology rule those who don't. His insights aren't history, they're operating manuals for anyone tired of being manipulated. Being ruthless isn't being cruel. It's being psychologically sophisticated. While you play checkers with good intentions, others play chess with calculated moves. Before we dive, write this in comments: I refuse to be psychologically dominated by others. This is your first step from victim mindset to predator mindset. Ready to become dangerously confident? Let's begin. 1. Fairness is a trap. Fairness is a lie keeping you weak and compliant. While you wait for fair treatment, others take what you want. While you play by imaginary rules, others rewrite the game. While you expect reciprocity, manipulators exploit your predictability. You think being fair makes you noble. It makes you prey. How many times have you respected those who disrespected you? Helped those who never helped back? Waited your turn while others cut in line? This isn't bad luck, it's psychological programming. Machiavelli wrote, men should either be treated generously or destroyed. For slight injuries, they seek revenge. For heavy ones, they cannot. This isn't violence, it's psychology. Wound someone's ego slightly, they plot revenge. Dominate them completely, they accept their position. Most people make half measures. They weakly push back against strong personalities. They set soft boundaries with aggressive people. They try reasoning with pure self-interest. This creates the worst outcome: you look weak while creating enemies who see you as defeatable. Real psychological dominance. When someone disrespects you, you don't argue. You demonstrate through action that disrespect brings immediate, severe consequences. You don't negotiate your worth. You don't convince people to treat you better. You create conditions where treating you well serves their interest and treating you poorly costs them. Stop being fair with unfair people. Start being strategic with those who only understand power. 2. Ruthlessness is emotional discipline. Most think ruthless means losing control. Wrong. True ruthlessness is ice-cold emotional discipline. Ruthless people don't get angry, they get strategic. They don't react, they respond calculatedly. They don't decide from hurt feelings, they decide from logical self-interest. This is why reactive people never build influence. They're predictable, manipulable by anyone who knows their buttons. They surrender power whenever someone makes them lose composure. Psychologically dominant people feel anger, frustration, disappointment, but don't let feelings control actions. Someone publicly embarrasses you. The reactive person defends, argues, looks weak. The disciplined person notes the attack, feels the emotion, then asks, what response damages this person most while elevating me? Maybe they ignore, showing the attacker isn't worth energy. Maybe they deliver cold, factual correction making the attacker look foolish. Maybe they use the attack to demonstrate superior composure. Key: response is chosen, not triggered. Machiavelli understood, injury should be inflicted all at once so their ills, being less lasting, give less offense. When you must respond to psychological attacks, make it decisive and final. No ongoing drama. No emotional back and forth. One calculated move that ends conflict in your favor. Think of powerful people you know. Do they lose their temper? Get into shouting matches? Let others control their emotional state? No. They maintain emotional sovereignty. They choose battles. They respond from strategy, not feelings. This emotional discipline becomes tremendous power. When others know they can't manipulate your emotions, they treat you with caution and respect. Master your emotions. Let others react while you strategically respond. 3. Dominance trumps likability. This shatters people-pleasing programming. Being respected is infinitely more valuable than being liked. When people merely like you, they risk your feelings assuming forgiveness. When they respect your psychological strength, they think twice before crossing you, knowing there will be consequences. Likeable people are safe, predictable, easy to exploit. Everyone knows they won't meaningfully retaliate. Psychologically dominant people are dangerous, unpredictable, treated with caution. Everyone knows they can and will defend their interests. Who gets most respect in your circles, the nicest person or the strongest presence? Who gets consulted before decisions, the agreeable one or the one whose approval actually matters? Machiavelli was direct. It's much safer to be feared than loved if you must lack one. This doesn't mean tyranny, it means being someone others know they cannot disrespect without real consequences. Having a reputation for being fair but formidable. Likeable people say yes to unwanted requests, fearing disappointment. Dominant people say no without guilt, prioritizing their interests. Likeable people tolerate disrespect hoping it stops. Dominant people address disrespect immediately and decisively. Likeable people try being included everywhere. Dominant people are selective about what deserves their presence. Likeable people explain and justify decisions. Dominant people decide and expect adaptation. Instead of asking, will they like me, start asking, will this increase or decrease my power? Instead of making everyone comfortable, become comfortable with others' discomfort when it serves you. Instead of seeking approval, become someone whose approval others seek. This isn't becoming an asshole, it's becoming someone whose respect must be earned. Build dominance through consistent demonstration of your standards. Let others compete for your approval instead of you competing for theirs. 4. Decisive action creates superiority. Here's where most destroy their influence. They make weak moves repeatedly instead of strong moves rarely. Psychologically weak people constantly threaten consequences they never deliver. Multiple warnings train others to ignore them. They try control through nagging, pleading, emotional manipulation. This creates terrible reputation, all bark, no bite. People learn to tune you out because your warnings have no real power. Psychologically dominant people operate differently, fewer warnings, but when they act, it's decisive and memorable. Machiavelli observed, if an injury must be done, do it so severe that vengeance need not be feared. Psychologically, when demonstrating power, make it so clear and final that testing you again becomes unthinkable. Someone consistently disrespects you, interrupting, dismissing, making jokes. Weak response, repeatedly asking them to stop, getting frustrated, complaining to others. This reinforces their dominance. They see they can affect your emotional state without consequences. Dominant response, document the pattern, then act once decisively. Publicly call out their behavior embarrassingly. Exclude them from something they value. Demonstrate social power by turning others against their behavior. Key: your response is disproportionately strong compared to any single incident but proportionate to the overall disrespect pattern. This creates psychological impact. Others see disrespecting you has real costs. They also see you're not someone making empty threats. When you act, force accompanies action. Instead of constantly convincing people of your value, occasionally demonstrate it so powerfully the lesson sticks permanently. Instead of constant availability, occasional unavailability makes people realize they need you more. Instead of repeatedly arguing your position, take actions making your position undeniable. Make fewer threats, but follow through completely when you act. Build a reputation for decisive action rather than empty warnings. 5. Perception management is reality control. This is psychological influence's most sophisticated form, understanding that people's perception of you matters more than objective reality. Most people focus on being good, assuming natural value recognition. This is naive. People don't have time for deep character investigation. They make snap judgments based on surface signals and social proof. If you don't actively manage perception, someone else will, unfavorably. Machiavelli understood, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. For most people you encounter, your image is your reality. Your reputation is your power. Your perceived value is your actual value in their minds. Psychologically sophisticated people actively craft their image. They control their identity narrative before others create it. This isn't fakery, it's strategic presentation of authentic qualities. Two people accomplish the same thing. One documents strategically, showing competence and success. The other says nothing, assuming work speaks for itself. Who gets more recognition, opportunities, respect? The perception manager. Face-to-face work similarly, body language, voice tone, clothing, social confidence communicate your value before you speak. Confident posture, eye contact, authoritative speaking unconsciously categorizes you as important. Slouching, avoiding eye contact, tentative speaking unconsciously dismisses you as unimportant. People treat you according to how you train them to see you. Control what stories circulate, strategically share successes, minimize failures. Associate with high-value people to elevate status through proximity. Maintain mystery so people fill gaps with positive assumptions. Project confidence even when uncertain, confidence spreads while uncertainty repels. Your reputation is your most valuable asset. Protect, cultivate, leverage it. 6. Narrative control is psychological warfare. This is ultimate power, controlling not just what happens, but how it's interpreted and remembered. Every situation can be framed multiple ways. Same action, leadership or arrogance, confidence or selfishness, strength or aggression. Whoever controls narrative controls meaning. Most people focus on actions while ignoring the story being told about those actions. Massive mistake. In human psychology, story often outweighs facts. In any conflict, whoever tells their version first and most persuasively usually wins public opinion, regardless of who was actually right. Machiavelli observed, men judge more from appearances than reality. People lack time for thorough investigation. They rely on simplified stories from trusted sources. Whoever controls that story controls belief. When succeeding, control how success happened. When failing, control what you learned. When attacked, control the counter-narrative. You cut off a toxic friend. They might portray you as selfishly abandoning them. Without narrative control, you appear heartless. But proactively framing, I needed boundaries with someone affecting my mental health who refused friendship reciprocity, positions you as appropriately self-valuing. Same action, completely different perception. Advanced narrative control means anticipating interpretations and preempting negative ones. Always consider not just your actions but how they'll be perceived. Shape stories before others shape them. 7. Systematic consequences create authority. Influence's most sophisticated form doesn't rely on emotion, threats, manipulation. It creates predictable systems where certain behaviors automatically produce certain outcomes. This is psychological mastery because it removes your personality from consideration. People can't argue with systems like they argue with personal decisions. They can't manipulate automatic consequences like they manipulate emotional responses. When your authority depends on anger or threats, you give others control over your power. They can push buttons, manipulate emotions, negotiate reactions. But when you create systems where respect yields access and disrespect yields exclusion, you maintain complete psychological control. Machiavelli understood, a wise ruler should rely on what's in his own control, not on what's in others' control. Friends always expect you to plan activities but frequently cancel or show late. Emotional approach, frustration, complaint, guilt trips. Systematic approach, I plan activities for people who confirm and show punctually. When cancellation patterns develop, stop including them. No announcement as threat, just implement as natural system. People valuing your effort get more, people wasting it get less. This creates authority because people modify behavior to maintain access to what you provide. They can't argue with the system, it's based on logical consequences, not emotional reactions. Most powerful aspect, it's self-maintaining. No constant enforcement needed. Natural consequences work for you. Create systems where people's behavior toward you automatically determines their access to your value. Let natural consequences teach people how to treat you. 8. Silent dominance is ultimate power. This is the final, most crucial lesson. True psychological dominance operates silently. People constantly discussing how tough, smart, ruthless they usually aren't. They're advertising desired qualities rather than demonstrating actual control. Real power needs no announcement. Real influence works behind scenes. Real psychological dominance is felt, not declared. The most dangerous people in any room are often the quietest. They observe while others perform. They calculate while others react. They position while others posture. Do psychologically powerful people constantly remind you of their power? Brag about influence? Threaten crossers? No. Their power is assumed, not announced. Their influence demonstrates through results, not declarations. Their dominance is felt through presence, not words. Machiavelli captured it. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Be strategically intelligent when cunning required, psychologically forceful when strength needed. Key: transition seamlessly without telegraphing strategy. Competitors don't see moves until too late. Allies don't know how you're positioning them until they benefit. Enemies don't realize you're undermining them until influence crumbled. Build influence without announcing ambitions. Position without obvious strategy. Gather information while revealing minimal. Build alliances without obviousness to competitors. Undermine opponents without them recognizing source. This isn't sneakiness, it's understanding strategic discretion exceeds tactical transparency. When operating with silent dominance, people experience your power without understanding its acquisition. This makes influence seem natural and inevitable rather than calculated. Build your psychological empire quietly. Let others make noise while you make strategic moves. Demonstrate power through results, not announcements. Here's the final truth: if you don't master dark psychological influence, someone who has will control your life. This isn't philosophical debate, it's psychological warfare happening around you daily. Right now, while you've learned these principles, someone uses them against people unaware. Manipulators exploit fairness believers. Psychologically dominant individuals position themselves above those thinking good intentions outweigh strategic thinking. The choice is brutal but simple: become someone who understands and uses psychological influence, or remain someone influenced and used by others. You've been conditioned to think learning these makes you bad. That's exactly what psychologically dominant people want you believing. They want you naive, predictable, easy to manipulate while they operate with sophisticated understanding. Every day you delay implementing these lessons is another day someone more ruthless builds the influence and respect you want. Every day you choose niceness over strategic formidability is another day you give psychological ammunition to those viewing kindness as weakness. The world doesn't need more naive nice guys finishing last. It needs people who understand psychological realities and use that understanding to build genuine influence and unshakable confidence. If these dark truths awaken something, if you're tired of being psychologically dominated, then prove it. Like this video. Share it with someone needing to understand that niceness without psychological strength is just weakness wearing good intentions. Subscribe because these lessons are just the beginning. Remember your declaration: I refuse to be psychologically dominated by others. Now stop refusing and start dominating. The choice is yours, but choose quickly. Because while you decide whether to become psychologically dangerous, dangerous people are already deciding what to do with you.